Welcome, chosen seekers. You're here because something within you knows there's more to life than meets the eye, an inner voice calling you toward greater meaning, higher purpose, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. You've sensed that beneath the busy hum of everyday existence lies a powerful, untapped force, ready to propel you toward true spiritual mastery. By daring to explore this hidden realm, you've already taken the first step on a journey that few have the courage to begin. In the pages that follow, we'll illuminate how sexual abstinence can serve as a dynamic gateway to personal evolution. Far from mere restraint, this practice transforms your raw vitality into creative insight, heightened awareness, and elevated consciousness. It's an opportunity to channel your energy into becoming more attuned, more purposeful, and more fully alive. As you embrace this path, you'll discover that letting go of immediate gratification does not diminish your spirit, it magnifies it, helping you emerge as a radiant force in your own life and in the world around you. So prepare to embark on an adventure that will deepen your understanding, sharpen your vision, and set free the vast potential that's always been inside you. The time to rise, chosen seekers, is now. Let's begin. For millennia, mystics, sages, and spiritual leaders from diverse cultural lineages have hinted at a hidden pathway within human life, an inner road that transcends the surface-level demands of the body and delves into the mysterious landscape of the soul. Central to this path is learning to navigate and refine one of our most potent energetic currents, our sexual energy. While modern popular culture often equates sexual fulfillment with happiness or success, ancient wisdom traditions suggest there's far more at play. Contrary to conventional assumptions, abstaining from sexual activity is not necessarily about repression, shame, or an outdated moral code. Instead, it can be a profound act of energy conservation and direction, a deliberate choice to channel creative vitality towards spiritual growth, heightened insight, and the awakening of one's higher purpose. What truly happens then, when individuals who sense they are chosen for a greater mission consciously redirect their sexual impulses? How do their inner worlds evolve, and what kind of spiritual power might they discover? In what follows, we'll explore this theme from multiple angles. We'll journey through ancient cultures, draw upon modern psychology and neuroscience, consider personal testimonies, and reflect on the lives of historical figures. Together, these perspectives shed light on why transforming the energy of desire into a refined spiritual force can open doorways to creativity, purpose, and enduring peace. Section 1. Understanding sexual energy. Sexual energy as creative potential. Imagine sexual energy as a vibrant current of life force, comparable to a powerful river. If left to meander aimlessly, it may erode the banks of self-discipline or flood the mind with restless craving. If, however, we guide this river through carefully crafted irrigation channels, we can use its waters to nourish crops of genius, compassion, artistry, and spiritual insight. In many traditions, this force has different names. Kundalini in Indian yogic philosophy, Chi or Chi in Chinese wisdom traditions, Ohas in Ayurveda, or the creative life force in modern spiritual circles. Although the terminology varies, a shared truth emerges. Sexual energy is not limited to reproduction. It's an elemental, neutral potential that can be shaped. Just as raw ore can be refined into gleaming metal, raw sexual impulse can be elevated into sublime spiritual power. Section 2. Historical and cultural perspectives, ancient wisdom and universal themes. Throughout history, we find widespread acknowledgement that managing sexual energy is integral to spiritual growth. The diversity of traditions that teach this principle, Hindu yogis, Christian monastics, Buddhist monks, Taoist adepts, Sufi mystics, Jewish Kabbalists, and more, suggests it's a near-universal insight. Across continents and centuries, spiritual seekers recognized that refraining from or carefully channeling sexual energy sharpens the inner senses, allowing one to perceive dimensions of existence normally obscured by incessant desire. Western esoteric traditions, within the Christian monastic orders, as well as certain mystical sects like the Gnostics and some Hermetic schools, celibacy and chastity were embraced as tools for directing devotion to God. The removal of sexual indulgence was not about scorning the body, but about creating a vacuum that higher grace could fill. Likewise, in some Kabbalistic teachings, sexual energy is recognized as a powerful force that, when intentionally guided, can open higher states of consciousness. Buddhist monastic communities, monks and nuns in Buddhist traditions, often commit to celibacy as a cornerstone of their path. By restraining sexual impulses, they calm the turbulence of the mind, making it a still lake in which the moon of enlightenment can be clearly reflected. Freed from the pull of erotic fixation, the practitioner can focus on mindfulness, compassion, and liberation. Taoist energy cultivation. In classical Chinese Taoist teachings, sexual energy is known as Jing, the vital essence of life. Through breathwork, meditation, and subtle energetic practices, such as circulating energy through the microcosmic orbit, Taoist adepts learn to refine Jing into Qi, vital energy, and eventually Shen, spirit. Rather than dissipating sexual vitality, they cook it internally, turning base energy into spiritual gold that illuminates both body and soul. Hinduism and the brahmachari ideal. In ancient India, young students, brahmacharis, pursued celibacy to conserve energy for study, self-inquiry, and meditation. Yogis and renunciants embraced long-term abstinence to guard and refine ojas, the subtle essence associated with vitality, brilliance, and spiritual radiance. Their ultimate goal was not suppression, but the sublime elevation of energy into spiritual wisdom. Section 3. Chosen individuals and higher purpose. Who are the chosen? Some individuals feel an inexplicable pull, an inner calling that suggests they have work to do beyond ordinary aspirations. They may feel drawn to healing others, conveying spiritual truth, innovating visionary solutions, or guiding seekers toward enlightenment. For these chosen souls, abstinence from sexual activity can serve as an accelerator for their spiritual evolution. Rather than dismissing the body as inferior, such individuals acknowledge its importance while recognizing that constantly indulging in desire can scatter attention and waste precious energy. By abstaining, they free up creative potential. Their minds become laser-focused, their emotions more stable, and their spiritual sensitivity heightened. The short-term loss of pleasure paves the way for a far deeper and more lasting fulfillment rooted in purpose and divine connection. Section 4. Insights from Psychology and Modern Thought, Jungian Perspectives on Libido. Carl Jung expanded Freud's concept of libido beyond mere sexuality, framing it as a general psychic energy driving creativity, growth, and transformation. From this viewpoint, the libido can be sublimated, channeled away from pure sexual release toward endeavors of the intellect, the imagination, and the spirit. Thus, refraining from sexual indulgence makes energy available for self-inquiry, invention, and the forging of one's unique destiny. Napoleon Hill and sexual transmutation. In the 20th century, Napoleon Hill's seminal book, Think and Grow Rich, introduced the concept of sexual transmutation to a Western business audience. Hill observed that many successful innovators, leaders, and creators seem to harness their sexual drive, converting it into burning ambition, creativity, and visionary thinking. This principle, bridging the gap between ancient mysticism and modern personal development, underscores that sexual energy can shape destinies when guided wisely. Section 5. Creative genius and sexual abstinence. Historical examples. Consider the famed inventor Nikola Tesla, who reportedly remained celibate, believing it helped focus his intellect. Whether or not he was entirely abstinent, the idea that controlling sexual impulses could sharpen mental faculties has persisted. Artists, composers, and writers, from East Asian court poets to European painters, have hinted that their most luminous inspirations emerged in periods of intense discipline and minimal distraction. Just as an athlete carefully manages nutrition and exercise to achieve peak performance, the creative individual who tempers their sexual desires may find themselves with more sustained focus, increased originality, and a heightened capacity to channel raw energy into masterpiece-level works of art, literature, music, or technological innovation. Section 6. The science of abstinence and energetic balance, physiological and neurological effects. Recent scientific studies provide hints that reinforce these ancient understandings. While research in this area is still evolving, some findings suggest that short periods of sexual abstinence can recalibrate the brain's chemistry. Neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, crucial to motivation, focus, and emotional equilibrium, may become more balanced after a break from sexual release. Additionally, anecdotal reports and preliminary research indicate that abstinence may sharpen concentration, stabilize mood, improve sleep quality, and even bolster immune response. Though not universally verified by rigorous scientific consensus, these observations resonate with age-old spiritual claims. The energy conserved by not dissipating sexual force can be redirected toward health, healing, and higher cognitive or spiritual endeavors. Section 7. Protecting the energetic field, the aura and subtle energies. In many esoteric traditions, human beings are understood as more than just physical bodies. We possess subtle energy fields or auras that reflect our emotional states, thoughts, and spiritual maturity. Sexual intimacy involves a profound energetic exchange, blending these auras. While this can foster intimacy and deep connection, it can also leave subtle energetic imprints. For chosen individuals who rely on inner clarity, psychics, healers, visionaries, or spiritual teachers, maintaining a purified energetic field is paramount. Abstaining from sexual contact with multiple partners or entirely can prevent entanglements that cloud perception. Over time, this results in a more stable energetic presence. Intuition sharpens, inner guidance grows clearer, and the individual can serve as a radiant beacon to others, unencumbered by unwanted energetic residues. Section 8. Aligning with purpose from distraction to destiny. In a world awash with instant gratification, endless entertainment, and commercial appeals to desire, choosing abstinence from sexual activity may seem countercultural, even radical. Yet for those with a higher calling, redirecting sexual energy is not about rejecting life. It's about cutting through the static to tune into the soul's broadcast. Imagine attempting to listen to a whisper while standing in a noisy crowd. By stepping away from the clamor of desire, the chosen individual can finally hear their inner voice. This is the voice that says, "You were born for more than this." Freed from the tug-of-war with lust, they find it easier to commit to spiritual practices, creative projects, or humanitarian efforts. In aligning with their purpose, they discover that life has more depth and meaning than a cycle of gratification and longing. Section 9. Overcoming challenges on the path temptation as a teacher. No transformative journey is without obstacles. Doubts emerge. Is this worth it? The body rebels, give in just once. The mind rationalizes, this is too extreme. Yet each temptation can serve as a lesson in self-awareness. Instead of demonizing desire, the aspirant observes it, understanding its patterns and learning to navigate its currents. Think of these challenges as weights in a spiritual gym. By resisting the pull of urges, the individual grows stronger, more disciplined. Over time, temptations lose their sting. The practitioner realizes they can remain whole, stable, and fulfilled without chasing every flicker of erotic longing. This mastery over impulse becomes a cornerstone of character development, a skill that once honed can be applied to any goal or calling. Section 10. Practical strategies for sexual transmutation, methods and techniques. Various traditions have developed methods to move sexual energy upward through the body and into higher states of consciousness. Consider these techniques as tools in a spiritual toolbox, each adaptable to personal taste and cultural context. Meditation and breathwork. Focused breathing and stillness help calm the restless mind, guiding energy from the lower chakras toward the heart and head centers. Yogic pranayama, Taoist microcosmic orbit meditations, or even simple mindfulness sessions encourage energy to rise, illuminating the psyche. Creative outlets. Sexual energy is inherently creative. By channeling it into art, music, writing, or inventive problem-solving, one transmutes raw drive into enduring creations that inspire and elevate. Service and compassion. Directing surplus vitality into acts of kindness, volunteer work, mentoring, or healing allows energy to flow outward beneficially. Compassion-focused action transfigures inner intensity into a positive force for the greater good. Spiritual study and contemplation. Engaging with sacred texts, studying philosophy, or contemplating timeless wisdom redirects mental energy. Instead of fixating on desire, the mind immerses itself in uplifting, ennobling ideas. Physical exercise and nature immersion. Movement and time in nature help circulate energy, preventing stagnation. Yoga, qigong, long walks, gardening, or simply resting under a tree can harmonize body, mind, and spirit, ensuring that abstinence doesn't become repression, but a gentle redirection. Bullet point summary for quick retention. Meditation and breathwork elevate energy from base to crown. Creative expression, convert libido into art, invention, insight. Service and compassion, transform desire into altruistic action. Spiritual study, focus the mind on higher truths. Nature and exercise, balance and circulate energy holistically. Section 11. Heightened perception and intuition, blossoming of subtle senses. As sexual energy refines, practitioners often report heightened intuition, more accurate gut feelings, meaningful dreams, synchronized events, or even flashes of clairvoyance. Freed from the constant hum of erotic longing, the mind becomes a spacious canvas upon which subtle impressions appear more vividly. Like clearing a smudged lens, abstinence polishes perception. Intuition can become a reliable guide, offering hints about life decisions, the needs of others, or the unfolding of personal destiny. These sharpened senses are not magical, but rather natural human potentials, dormant in most people due to energy dispersion and distraction. Section 12. Strengthening the aura, building a radiant energy field. Picture your aura like a luminous field of light around you. With each mindful choice to conserve and refine energy, the aura grows steadier and brighter. Casual energy exchanges, especially those that occur without consciousness, can dim this light. By stepping back from indiscriminate sexual encounters, one stabilizes their energetic signature. This enhanced aura acts as a fortress of peace amid chaos, a buffer against negativity, and a mirror that reflects inner clarity outward. Over time, such individuals become safe havens for others, radiating a calm presence that gently encourages everyone around them to rediscover their own higher nature. Section 13. Reconnecting with the universal source, seeing life through a spiritual lens. Philosopher Alan Watts suggested that we emerge from the universe like a wave from the ocean, not as isolated entities, but as expressions of a cosmic wholeness. In choosing to abstain from sexual activity, the seeker symbolically steps back from the world's urgent demands. This pause allows for a renewed understanding of existence as a unified, interconnected tapestry of energy. Life's struggles can then be seen as lessons rather than punishments. Coincidences morph into meaningful synchronicities. Adversity becomes a catalyst for growth instead of a barrier. As the individual's perspective expands, they experience a subtle yet profound shift. Instead of feeling like an accidental wanderer in a chaotic universe, they recognize themselves as co-creators in a vast, intelligent, and loving cosmos. Section 14. Inspiring others. Through example, the ripple effect of spiritual discipline, a quiet transformation in one person's life can influence countless others. Observers may be skeptical at first. Why give up pleasure? Are you missing out on life? Over time, however, these same observers notice something remarkable about the abstinent individual, a sense of calm, clarity, purpose, and inner radiance that resists easy explanation. This subtle influence can spark curiosity. Friends, family, and even strangers might ask, "How did you become so focused, so compassionate, so at peace?" The answer, an intentional redirection of sexual energy, challenges prevailing cultural narratives and encourages others to rethink their assumptions. In this way, individual change feeds into collective evolution, gently nudging society toward deeper questions about meaning, fulfillment, and the nature of true happiness. Section 15. Practical applications in daily life beyond strict celibacy. Not everyone must become a monk or nun to benefit from these principles. Moderation alone can yield surprising rewards. Maybe it's a short period of abstinence, a conscious choice to treat intimacy as sacred rather than casual, or simply being more mindful of how sexual impulses influence decisions. For instance, a married couple might choose periodic abstinence to refresh their connection and deepen their emotional intimacy. An artist might cut back on sexual indulgence during a creative burst to maintain focus. A business leader might apply sexual transmutation techniques to channel passion into entrepreneurship or community building. The possibilities are as diverse as human aspiration. Professional and personal benefits. In a professional setting, harnessing sexual energy can lead to improved productivity, innovative thinking, and better stress management. Personally, individuals might find they have more patience with loved ones, heightened empathy, and a reduced tendency to judge or compete. By making even small shifts, we open ourselves to a more balanced, meaningful life. Section 16. Confronting doubts and temptations. The inner dialogue. As with any journey, doubt creeps in. One might wonder if they're sacrificing too much or missing out on essential human experiences. It's crucial to remember that this path is not inherently anti-sex. It's about placing desire in a context that serves rather than dominates. Many spiritual traditions allow for phases of abstinence and phases of conscious sexuality. The key is mindfulness, intentionality, and understanding the why behind one's choices. By confronting these doubts openly, perhaps through journaling, talking with a mentor, or seeking guidance from a spiritual community, individuals gain clarity. The process becomes less about strict denial and more about discernment. Over time, the practice feels less like a loss and more like a strategic investment in higher awareness and meaningful living. Section 17. Gradual integration and lifelong evolution, slow and steady growth. True spiritual maturation rarely happens overnight. It's a process of steady refinement, like polishing a gemstone until it sparkles. By integrating the insights gleaned from energy redirection into daily life, individuals grow kinder, more patient, and more connected. Each step, resisting a temptation, transforming an urge into a painting, responding to stress with compassion instead of frustration, adds up. This lifelong evolution doesn't require perfection. It invites sincerity and persistence. Over months and years, the practitioner witnesses profound inner changes. The formerly restless mind becomes still. The fearful heart grows brave, and the soul seems to sing with the joy of purposeful existence. Section 18. The role of love, from eros to universal love. At the heart of this journey lies an expanded definition of love. While sexual desire, eros, can be a beautiful part of human experience, focusing solely on the personal pleasure aspect limits love's scope. By refining sexual energy, one discovers a broader, more universal love, agape, compassion, divine tenderness that embraces all beings without demanding anything in return. This is the love that powers acts of mercy, fuels movements for justice and healing, and uplifts communities. It's the love that sees beyond differences, connecting hearts through shared humanity. In turning inward and refining energy, the chosen one finds not isolation, but a deeper capacity to love and serve the world. Section 19. A collective shift in consciousness, expanding beyond the individual. When even a handful of individuals embrace this path, their transformation can influence social norms, cultural values, and collective aspirations. Over time, more people may question the endless chase for sensual pleasure as the sole route to happiness. They may seek more meaningful relationships, more authentic connections, more spiritually informed goals. Discussions about energy management, spirituality, and holistic well-being become more mainstream. In workplaces, schools, and households, the conversation might shift from "how can I get more pleasure?" to "how can I channel my energy toward fulfilling my purpose and helping others thrive?" In this way, ancient wisdom converges with modern understanding, guiding humanity toward a more balanced and enlightened future. Section 20. Additional reflections, analogies, and tools. The musical instrument. Just as a musician tunes their violin before playing a symphony, a spiritual seeker tunes their being by refining sexual energy. The result is a purer, more resonant inner music. The archer's bow. Abstinence can be compared to pulling back the bowstring, accumulating potential energy. When released toward a chosen goal, a creative project, spiritual quest, or charitable cause, it hits the mark with greater force and accuracy. The alchemist's crucible. Ancient alchemists sought to transform base metals into gold. Similarly, the practitioner transforms raw sexual impulse into spiritual insight. Each challenge is like fuel for an inner fire that purifies and elevates. Practical tips for daily integration: set intentions. Begin each day with a simple vow: I will use my energy wisely. Track your progress. Journal about changes in mood, creativity, and focus during periods of abstinence. Seek community support. Engage with spiritual groups or mentors who understand and support your goals. Practice forgiveness. If you falter, forgive yourself. Growth is not a straight line, and every slip is an opportunity to learn. Celebrate small wins. Notice improved focus, clearer intuition, or increased patience. These are signs you're on the right track. Conclusion: ascending to a higher plane. What truly happens when chosen individuals abstain from sexual activity for spiritual reasons? Rather than descending into emptiness, they ascend into a richer interior world, brimming with insight, serenity, creativity, and love. By redirecting life's most potent energy, they align their minds with wisdom, their hearts with compassion, and their souls with divine purpose. This journey, once seen as austere or outdated, emerges as profoundly modern and relevant. In a global landscape rife with stress, distraction, and shallow gratification, the practice of refining sexual energy offers hope. It shows that human beings are capable of transcending base impulses, remembering their divine origins, and living with depth, authenticity, and radiant peace. Key takeaways for long-term retention. Sexual abstinence in a spiritual context is about energy management, not repression. Many global traditions affirm that redirecting sexual energy enhances mental clarity, creativity, and spiritual insight. Techniques like meditation, creativity, service, and nature immersion guide this sublimation of energy. Over time, individuals may experience stronger intuition, emotional stability, heightened purpose, and a more radiant, energetic presence. This personal transformation can ripple outward, inspiring others to reconsider their own pursuits of fulfillment. In the end, what truly matters is love, an expansive, selfless love that embraces the interconnectedness of all life. By learning to harness and refine their sexual energy, chosen individuals radiate this love more abundantly, contributing to a world that yearns for deeper meaning and lasting harmony. In a world perpetually hungry for novelty and satisfaction, the decision to redirect sexual energy toward spiritual heights may seem unconventional. Yet it's in these choices, these quiet acts of inner rebellion against the ordinary, that human beings discover the extraordinary. Through patience, discipline, and vision, they illuminate a path ahead, forging destinies rich in purpose, wisdom, and peace.